I'm Meg Sechon here at Solar North America in San Francisco, California. Here with me today is Tom Dinkel, CEO of SunReports. SunReports is a residential solar energy monitoring company. Thanks for being here, Tom.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Today we'll be discussing SunReports' new venture into a social media Facebook app. Tom, care to explain the new tool for Facebook users?
Sure. One of the goals with our Facebook app is the ability for installers to get more referrals. And solar tends to be a little contagious, and the idea is that if we can post performance data onto the user's Facebook page, along with branding for the installer and branding for the manufacturer, we are solving a couple of problems. The first is that solar tends to be a bit invisible once it's installed. So it's on the roof, people stop thinking about it, you're not likely to share with your friends that, hey, I got solar. I mean, it just doesn't come up in conversation. But on Facebook, it might. And so the idea is, let's take performance data and energy equivalents that sort of bring the performance into a realm of understanding that we might be able to talk about, and share it on Facebook with the branding associated for the manufacturer and for the installer. The goal is to stimulate referrals and stimulate discussions about solar. So if you've got a Prius, people can obviously see that you drive a Prius. If you've got solar, it's invisible. But it's on Facebook, you might get your friends asking questions about, oh, I didn't know you had solar, how's that working? And that stimulates the dialogue and raises the awareness of solar for everyone.
What kind of information does the app have?
It's pretty simple. It just says, for this period, and it could be a daily, a weekly, or a monthly period. For this period, you generated so many either kilowatt hours or BTUs or joules or whatever the energy measurement metric is that you choose, and it's equivalent to how far could you drive in a car, how many pounds of CO2 did you avoid, how many tons of coal or pounds of coal did you avoid having to be mined. So it's a pretty simplified, easy to understand. You look at it, it's really designed to start the discussion about solar.
What were the main reasons for creating your app?
To raise the awareness of solar across all users. There are, a couple 100,000 installations of PV at residential in the United States currently, maybe 3 or 4 times that in hot water, maybe 1 million total hot water and PV and pool installations in the country. Those are all known and understood by the people who bought them, but not their friends. So I want to stimulate the discussion about solar for the broader community to get us to a point where we have more widely accepted and adopted installations of solar.
And like you said before, solar installation seems to be contagious, and for every 1% increase in a zip code, there seems to be a 1% decrease in the time it takes for another person to get solar on their rooftop. How do you think your app will affect this trend?
Well, currently solar tends to cluster in neighborhoods, and if you see that your neighbor's putting solar on, then that stimulates that discussion. So it's sort of the hardwired social network, the physical connection. Facebook is a virtual connection, and so now you might get clustering around people's circle of friends. You have solar on your house, how's that working? How was it a hard decision to make? Who'd you use? How much did you pay? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If your experience was good with that installer, it's likely that your friends will use the same one. And so that causes the more rapid adoption of solar across the country.
Great, very exciting. Well, thanks for being with me here today. Thanks
very much. It's my pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.